All right, we are live. This is Pace Magazine. I'm Josh Jackson. I'm joined today by Sondre Lerche. Welcome, Sondra.
Hey Josh, how are you?
I'm doing good. It has been a long time. The
Yeah.
first time I met you was
Uh-huh.
literally after your very first show in the US. And what
Uh-huh.
year would that have been? 2002?
2002 maybe? Was it
2002, I
CMJ
think.
maybe?
CMJ 2002. It was the first year we started Paced,
Yeah.
and it was your first time coming through and playing in the US. I was randomly at your show and I was blown away, and I was like, oh gosh, we got to write about this guy. We got to tell the world about this guy. So good to see you here.
It's good to see you too, man. It's I'm coming live at you from my old bedroom in my mom's house in Bergen, Norway.
Awesome. Well, you've told us the internet is a little spotty there, so it
Yeah.
sounded good
A little
so
ancient.
far. The
Yeah,
if the
good.
video hangs up, no worries. We're just looking forward to hear some music and having a nice chat. So
Yeah.
great. Well, congratulations on the new record, Patience. Out
Thank you. It comes out actually it's
in
11
hours.
p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Norway, it's going to be out in an hour. It'll be midnight in an hour, and then America has to wait, a couple of more hours. But it's been a long time coming. It's taken me 7 years to make it. So I think we can wait a couple of hours. But it's here. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, basically when this show ends, people in Norway will be able to listen to the record
Yeah,
everywhere you can listen to a record. Go buy it,
yeah,
do whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
So I know this is your first, you're in Norway right now, but you've moved to LA, and this is your first record since that is a big move. New York to
yeah,
LA. Tell us
yeah.
about moving and why that happened and how you're enjoying living in LA, although right now nobody's really enjoying anything or
No, God. Yeah, I moved a year and a half ago. I lived in New York for like 13 years by that. And I don't know. I just wanted to change. All my friends were moving out of the city, having kids, disappearing. Every time I came back from tour, fewer and fewer people were there. And I was feeling the pull towards warmer weather. I started running. I run a lot. I was running marathons and training for that, and I just wanted to be somewhere I could be running. And all my friends were making in LA were making LA just seem really, really tempting. And I just did it, and I instantly loved it. I just really, really loved it. It's been great. So I really miss it now. I wish I could be there. I wish I could be present with my friends. I wish I could partake in the protests there and help out. But yeah, I've been now in Norway since mid-March, since the corona thing
Mhm.
really got serious, and I figured it'd be safer to be here than in America, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the protests, it's been amazing to see the world rally around this cause that started in America, but it's not. It's a particular American thing, but unfortunately, not solely an American thing. Uh,
Oh,
are there protests going on in Norway right now? Have there been any
yeah.
activity on the streets?
There's actually a protest here in Bergen tomorrow at like 2 p.m. There's going to be a protest downtown. I know there's one in Oslo tomorrow around the American embassy. So there's definitely, people are, I think, both in solidarity, but also hoping and I'm thinking that some of it is also trying to look at ourselves and apply some of it to ourselves, because it's obviously systemic institutional racism isn't an exclusively American thing, although yeah, every country has its particular nasty history, and it is to see. It's sad that it has to become so dark. We have to see it so explicitly in order to take action. But now that it's happening, I'm thankful that it's that it, you know, the change, it's already happening. You know,
Hmm.
it's good to see people. It's the pressure is on, and people are starting to take it seriously. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, we've been through this too many times, but it feels like this time is different, and that
Right.
maybe there will be real change, at least changes in attitudes and changes that pressure um,
Yeah.
can build that pressure to real actual change. And I will say, for those of you watching, we have our donate button today is going to support the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. So
Yeah.
thank you to anybody who's given, and for those of you who can, we would encourage you to give. So, Sondra, you're going to play a couple of songs, I assume from the
Yeah.
new record. What are you going to start
Of
with
course.
today?
Yeah. Well, I want to play the new single, which is called "I Can't See Myself Without You."
Great.
Darling of mine, I've no desire to do you wrong. The story short, the excuse is long. Darling, oh darling, I wasn't looking for someone else, just some other part of myself. Oh darling, oh, when I see the pain I cause in plain view. Oh darling, I can't see myself without you. Darling, oh mine, I slipped into the faceless pack, like I just shot someone in the back. Oh darling, whoa darling, if temptation creates the thief, the pleasure cannot match the grief. Oh darling, whoa, when I whisper in your ear and come to, oh darling, I can't see myself without you. Darling, I can't see myself without you. Darling of mine, I wasn't looking for someone else, just some other part of myself, and another, and another, and another, and another. Oh darling, whoa, when you whisper in my ear I come to. Oh darling, I can't see myself without you. Oh no, darling, I can't see myself without you. Oh darling, I can't see myself without you.
Woo!
All right.
So the
Thank
screen
you.
went dark there for a little bit, but you sounded great. So that's what mattered. It was that was
That's, you know,
fantastic.
that's how it's got to be, I guess.
This 2020, man. This is it's been a challenge in so many different ways, but I'm so thankful to have you here today, sharing your music with us. This has been a bright spot, and so great to have you. So, talk about the new record. So, you had gotten a little bit into some ambient music. You went back to Norway to record most of it with sort of your regular crew. But talk
Yeah.
about the new record and the recording process.
Well, it's sort of it's a record that sort of overlaps for me with the two previous ones. The one called Please from 2015 and Pleasure in 2017. So the process sort of they all overlap with each other. Mostly recorded in my hometown here with my guys, and some of it, of course, in New York, some in LA. But this one's been a long time coming. I started, the oldest song I wrote 7 years ago, and I recorded the first one, which is a song arranged by Van Dyke Parks called "Put the Camera Down." I think it was gonna hopefully be on the record I was making at the time, which was "Please," and it just didn't fit. And I realized I had more songs that just didn't fit, and a lot of them became Pleasure in 2017. But then there were still other songs that just pointed forward to this need to sort of slow down time and to I don't know and around that time I started running and listening to a lot of music. I just called it patient music, and it was ambient music, classical music, and anything from Steve Reich to Brian Eno or whatever, and just music where I didn't feel confined by songwriting rules and verse refrain and all that, and ironically still Patience, as much as it is inspired by that sort of, I don't know, the desire to feel like a twist again in music. It still has a lot of pop songs, so it's only a pop record, and wasn't time for it. Those songs and it's sort of a nice mixture of search for serenity at music, trying to stay in one moment, constantly sort of shift your direction, and instead just walk our eyes and try to do so.
Oh, I was losing you there right at the end, but I the idea of patience I love, and thinking about hanging on to a Van Dyke Parks collaboration for that many years without sharing it to the world feels like patience. Talk about that experience of working with the legend.
Oh, man, it was fantastic. And of course, I can eat it. When I tell and it's not a record, in 2014 for me. But it's just become more and more important for me to just find the right combination of songs that really belong together, and stuff that just feels urgent to me. And so the record just was a slow build, and then it was very clear to me. And I wrote a bunch of songs that just tied together, and I found the title like years. I couldn't have predicted that, of course. Patience would be the Corona era. Of course, the era that we now is not patient. It's now it's the impatient. But for a while there, it was strange to be kind of patient.
Yeah, yeah, and what a weird time to be releasing a record. We've been doing this show, calling it Happiest Hour. That just didn't feel like it fit this week. So,
No,
but I've talked to so many people that have been releasing records during the COVID cycle, which is difficult. This week, there's like an added level to it of just, trying to put this thing out there that you've worked on so hard and so long in just such a strange time. So, and can't be here to tour it. But it's also very soothing music, which feels like very appropriate to the time right now. So you've got a second song for us. I'm hoping that the sound will. We were losing you there towards the end of that conversation, so hopefully we get the good sound coming back here for the second song. Let's hope.
man, yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for the chord. Yeah, it feels good to be sharing music that at least attempts to do thing. I thought like on the record, which is called um,
I'm losing you again, Sondra.
are you using Patience?
I'm losing the sound and the video now.
Oh boy, is it that? Um, oh, try all right. Time moves like a creation through my but it's like songs I never find. Do you wanna hear little thing that I put there? I wrote in your blood, patience. I'm coming. Moves like creation through my glides by like songs I never find. Darling, do you wanna see the forms of sometimes loosely based patience. I'm calling patience. I'm calling patience. Moves like a creation through my mind. Like song I never find. And then
All right, Sondra. Thank you for sharing that. It was coming in and out there a little bit, but in 40 minutes, everybody can have the recorded version, which is I got to hear it already, so I can tell you it's fantastic, and everybody should go download and listen very soon.
thanks.
So, one thing that I've been asking everyone is, um, what are you turning to right now? Whether that's a TV show, a book, somebody else's album. What do you find yourself reaching for right now while we're all kind of stuck at home and in a position we'd never imagined we'd be in, before 2020?
Well, I do find a lot of energy and good spirits, like just having the work and being able to share, of course, the album and share the music. I'm really grateful actually for the internet and for social media in this at this time, because it allows us to connect and to share the music and to share to share what I love to do and see that it can lift spirits. So I find a lot of energy in the work and finding ways to have the work not stop,
Mm-hmm.
which is of course important, just in terms of I've spent a lot of time on this record, and you want it to keep moving. You want to keep the wheels in motion. So that gives me a lot of energy, and and then I go for a run when I need to do something else. I find a lot
Uh-huh.
of energy in that. Just keep moving either physically or. But yeah, it's you got to try to find some balance, and to me, work gives me a lot of energy.
Uh-huh.
Connecting with people through the work.
Well, speaking of connecting with people, you have done something very interesting here, which is your hotline, where you've published
Yeah,
a way for all of your fans just to get in touch with you directly. What has
yeah.
that experience been like?
Oh, it's sort of it's not that different from a lot of other sort of platforms, but people are able to text me, and it's 310 388 9880. Yeah, I'm starting to remember my own number now. Yeah, people can text me, and you can communicate directly in a way, instead of going via Facebook or all these algorithm based places, that sort of always want to put something between you and the people. So I think it's cool. I really enjoy getting connected with the spirit of the individuals that are interested in my music. It's fun. I appreciate people's enthusiasm, and it's sort of contagious. So it's a cool thing, and I thought the world could use a patience hotline at this moment.
Absolutely. I think we could all use that. So,
Yeah.
um, well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming and joining us. And we're going to add our next guest to the mix here. We've got Pokey Lafarge on the line.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Pokey.
Hey, hey.
All right. So I am in Atlanta. Sondra is in Bergen, Norway. And Pokey, you are in Austin, Texas.
Wow,
So
yeah. You got it
kind of
right.
got the spread here.
How about that?
So this is the portion of the show where usually we are raising a glass to whoever we want to raise a glass to. And
Should I grab a
today,
beer real quick?
oh, sure, go grab a beer. I'll keep talking. Yeah, I've got this much left somehow in my glass, so I'm gonna be toasting with very small sips. Um, um, so today, in doing this, we on Monday and Tuesday we had some live streams scheduled. We just felt like, we would hold off and um, didn't want to do something called Happiest Hour. But
No.
today we thought we would do this. We could all use a little live music in our day, and we decided to add the button on here so people could donate directly to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, which leads me to my toast, which is to not just the protesters, but all the volunteers out there who are trying to support them, whether that's through legal aid, whether that's people donating to bail funds, whether that's people out there with med kits and food and bananas and water and everything. God bless you all, and cheers to you all, everybody on the front lines, just standing up for what's right. And it seems like we shouldn't still have to say it in 2020, but Black Lives Matter, and change needs to happen. So cheers to all of you.
Look at that.
Cheers. Cheers.
Sondra, anybody else we should be toasting to, or anything to add to that today?
No, amen. I appreciate the opportunity, of course, to spread, like you say, all these things that we take for granted, and that people understand and know. And yeah, it's a moment of to videos and what you can do. But I sincerely who cannot seem to understand the severity of this moment, and can't connect with part of their empathy that that puts themselves in the position of people who deal with things that they would they can't even imagine. It's I hope people just give it a second try, because there's still people out there resisting the idea of equality, and it's a mind fuck, of course, but it has to happen from the top down. So maybe this is that moment where things really change. It feels historic, so it's humbling to be here.
It is indeed humbling to be here. Pokey, who else should we be toasting today?
Well, I would like to toast my my best friend Nick up in New York, and to my family, who I haven't seen in months now. And for a traveling guy like me, I don't gets around the world. That's still it's too long. To the people on the front lines that are out there protesting at this very moment, and people who have been protesting as well, just everyone who has a heart in this. Hopefully you do, but just encouraging people to also take some time for self-reflection and see what part of the solution you can be, and also maybe how you are also contributing to the problem, and also taking time to take care of yourself, because I think taking care of yourself is your very existence can be a very form of resistance as well.
Amen. Cheers to that. With my last sip of beer. So Sondra, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your music, and be well and be safe. We look forward to when we can all travel again and live music comes back, and next time you're in Atlanta, we'll have to do this face to face. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Josh. You guys have a good one, right?
All right. Take care, Sondra.
Yeah. Thanks.
So Pokey.
There was two.
What's that?
I said, and then there was two.
And then there was two. All right. I'm appreciating your internet connection here. We're having a little trouble here in Sondra there. And
more ways are far away, you know.
It is. Long way for those pixels to travel. So you've had some travel in these last couple of years. So you moved St. Louis to LA, and then LA to Austin. Can you talk a little bit about both of those moves?
Yeah, the idea was to be on the road right now, right? So I should be on, should have been on tour. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be calling Austin like an actual home. I might, the hope is to be back on the road again, but of course that probably won't be happening anytime soon. In case you don't, I don't want to be dashing any hopes out there, but I think it's
going to be a little bit
low for those hopes.
Yeah. St. Louis was home for a long, long time. Why the switch to LA?
Well, suns every single day of the year, warm weather, never cold, the beach, the mountains, the desert. California, as Woody Guthrie said, is a Garden of Eden, right?
Uh-huh.
So just a change. I'm surprised I lived in St. Louis as long as I did, as much as I loved it, and there's people that I love. Just gotta keep moving, man. Gotta keep trucking.
All right. Well, congratulations on your new record, Rock Bottom Rhapsody. That was out in April, which, as we've talked about a lot on the show, is just a rough time to be putting an album, and not what anybody imagined this would be like to follow that up. But tell us a little bit about making that record, and what inspired it, and just this collection of very cool songs that you've got.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Do a little commercial here. Here's the LP there.
Yeah, I love that image of you and the skeleton. Where did that come from?
Yeah, well, guess they could sum it up with we drag enough of our own sort of dead corpses or keep our own skeletons in our closet, but then when you get in a relationship, you're with somebody else who has all their old skeletons in the closet too, right? And you can drag that memory around of them after you lose them for a long period of time until you kind of let it go. The making of the record was just kind of come to grips and facing a lot of my inner demons, if you will. And I just would encourage people out there to to talk to somebody if you're hurting ever, and try and heal from that. Maybe you have to be broken before you can heal. Maybe. I'd like to think you don't have to be. But I think this is a cool, exciting time where we're actually talking about things anymore. It's not the grin it and bear it kind of thing, back in the day.
Skeletons are all out in the open now.
Yeah, man, we can talk about those things. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's never sexier. Been more sexy to be sensitive and be honest. So
absolutely.
And so going forward, I think getting the joy back in my music and looking forward to that. Because everything you are as a person comes out in your work. So
that's great. Well, speaking of your work,
get it worked out.
Great. We'd love to hear a song from you today. What are you going to play first?
Yeah, well, I'll play a little tune called Bluebird. Song off a record called Bluebird. I was the razor blade, she took me to the edge. I did her dirty work like hangman count the dead. Her veins pump through me, flowing blue, not red, bluebird. She's sentimental, still wears her ex-boyfriend's perfume. She's melancholic, yeah, that way that French girls do. She said, write a song for me, called it Was So Blue. Oh, I sing for you, bluebird. She got the thing that give writers the words. The singers sing them in the songs you heard. She got you. Yeah, she got the soul that give the band the groove. She drops a beat that makes the dancers do what she can't do, only a woman can do. Broken glass after too many beers. She's laissez-faire, lost but never scared. Oh, take me there, bluebird. Oh, she got the thing that give writers the words. The singers sing them in the song you heard. Do-do-do. Yeah, she look good on me, I can remember that. She got the soul that give the band the groove. She dropped the beat that makes the dancers move. What she can do, only my woman can do. Bluebird, bluebird.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, you talk about a park in Amsterdam that where you kind of imagine these songs maybe getting played on 45s and people dancing to them. Is that an experience that you had when you were traveling through Europe?
Yeah, there's a place in Amsterdam called Pacific Park, Park with the Sea. Um, yeah, two this huge sort of it's in an old oil refinery, this huge old brick building where DJs are spinning 45s and people of all ages and colors and it's really really fun, man. Everybody's dancing, very peaceful. Um, you know, another cool thing about Europe. It is peaceful. It's calm. You don't worry about much drama there. Um, yeah, and I could just see that song specifically pumping through the speakers and getting sweaty and drinking their lagers to it.
Nice. Well, so Chris Seaford um, produced this record. Can you talk a little bit of just the process of recording these songs and selecting what was going to go together here on this album?
Um, well, Chris Seafried and I wrote a lot of the songs together for that record. We had started writing together as an experiment about 3 years ago, as I guess any new songwriting partner, having never met them before, can be. Experiment. Um, we click. Sometimes songwriting partners don't click. Sometimes they change your life, and he definitely did that. Went from a songwriting partner to a producer for this record. Seemed like a natural fit. He knows me so well personally. He knows my music and sees certain things in me that to nurture, if you will. And we kind of saw the record as well. Talked about the instrumentation for the live band. I wanted more specifically the live band to reflect the record. So I made sure to sort of use limitation as an asset, as I think it can be. Just because you hear horns on something or you hear strings on something doesn't mean you have to go and use it, right? I mean, you listen to guys like Bo Diddley, he hardly ever had a bass player. It was just percussion and his guitar and background voices, Got everything you need right there. So, not necessarily to say that that's the identity of the songs. I think songs can be reinterpreted all the time. But for me specifically, I felt two guitars, bass, keys, and drums were the arrangement there.
So when you hear it live, you're really recreating what's on the record, but with
That was the
just that
idea.
live feel.
That was the idea, but
That was the idea.
I have not even played
Best
a
laid
live
plans.
show with my band for the album at all. Not one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people can find the record everywhere. And one thing, when you came on the scene, there was just this timeless quality to what you do. Where did that come from? How did you end up playing the kind of music you play and writing the kind of songs you write? Being the kind of artist that you are. What were some of the things that sort of led you to this place?
Being in love with acoustic music, but being in love with not necessarily just folk music, but more specifically soul music. I think they're kind of intertwined. Wanting to play music that I write and play music that I myself would want to listen to. But my taste changed very quickly, and so my music evolves. I think, especially, has evolved very quickly in the last few years. I've become even more open-minded than before. Trying to blur lines between where music comes from and where it's at and where it's going to go. I think that being timeless has been a motto, has been a goal. I couldn't say myself if I've achieved that, but certainly a pursuit.
Well, it does feel that way. Timeless as opposed to old timey or reaching back into a specific era, because it feels like you're pulling from so many different places, and the songs on this record in particularly seem to go in so many places. So it does have that just sort of pulled out of time feel to it. So congrats.
Well, thank you very much. For me, uh, being able to, or just naturally writing within a lot of styles. Like I don't sit down and say, I'm going to write a blues song today, or sit down, I'm going to write a waltz. Nothing like that. You just have to kind of create the life that you want to live, and the songs just sort of come. And for me, it's just a matter of trying to be as honest as possible. I don't know if I've always been that way, but that's how I feel now. I think that's good. I think that's, if you can say that your pursuit is to be honest, then you'll get closer to being honest than you ever were before, because that wasn't a motto of mine before. It was about kind of having good times. But music's this weird thing too. I've been kind of struggling with lately, especially, well, I've just kind of come confronted with the last week. Writing about the things that are happening in this country, for me anyways, is the hardest thing. I mean, I can write about it all day long, but to write poetry about it is maybe a little easier to make it sound nice. But to write a song about it when there's confines in a song, and measures and chord progressions and melodies, because there's so much to say. And to not, now you can say Black Lives Matter in a song and you want to, but you don't want it to be so on the nose, everything on the nose, right? You have to shift perspective in a song so that people can hear it and feel it in a different way, right? It's not what you're saying, it's how you say it. It really is, right, in a song. So, and then the confronting the issues in the songs is very important. But then also, music is also a safe space, a place to escape. And there's healing that comes with escaping too. I think that's what I said earlier in my toast, where taking care of yourself and taking time for self-reflection, eating healthy, exercising, whatever it is you do to take care of yourself, that's a form of revolution, I think, too, right? Because the powers that
Absolutely.
be, they want you to be slow, and they want you to be uneducated, they want you to be, they want to divide you, right? But, so anyways, I just thought I'd confront on that. I wonder how other songwriters are feeling about that now, about things now, and how it's making its way into your song.
Yeah, one thing that's been interesting to me has been to see that the music that's coming out right now, in so many ways, like with everybody being isolated, people had written songs that were coming out now that just felt prescient. And then, Run the Jewels drops a record yesterday that feels like it was written yesterday, not, months ago. So I feel like in some ways, everything that we're dealing with was already there. And I feel like artists, I'm interested to see all the different ways that artists respond to it. But I think even before, it's just art has a way of finding truths that we didn't even know were about to slap us in the face. So that's been kind of a neat thing. So what are you going to play next for us?
Well, you got me thinking, and for me, I'd like to maybe play one of my older songs now, if I could.
Yeah.
I'm a traveling man, and I write songs about the people and places I meet and experiences I have. So let's go ahead and do one here about Barcelona. It's called Goodbye, Barcelona. wine we drank on the first night we met. You hate across my tongue and traced through my veins. You could have come with me on the morning I left. Oh, Amiva, Marca, Senorita, you danced a sardana, bare feet on the floor. And when you get tired, lay your head on my chest. Please hear my song, don't cry anymore. Oh, my heart is a bird that sings while you're gone. La, da, 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 da. Loneliest song you've ever heard. La, da, 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 da. Goodbye, Barcelona, so glad I've been shown you. I'm going, I'm leaving the land of the sun. For the far north, where I don't want to go, where the rain, it stops for no one. But I'm bringing a bottle of rum. Yep. Well, I was just thinking about my return. Temptation, hot oranges, lies ripe on the vine. So brother, familia grows taller each year, like my love for you that grows stronger with time. Oh, my heart is a bird that sings while you're gone. La, 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 la. Loneliest song you've ever heard, she say. Goodbye, Barcelona, so glad I've been shown you. I'm going, I'm leaving the land of the sun. For the far north, where I don't want to go, where the rain, it stops for no one. Yeah, but I'm drinking a bottle of rum. Oh, my heart is a bird that sings while you're gone. She say la da 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 da. Loneliest song you've ever heard. La da 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 da. Goodbye, Barcelona, so glad I've been shown you. I'm going, I'm leaving the land of the sun. For the far north, where I don't want to go, nor where the rain, it stops for no one. No one, no one, oh, no one. Yes, but I'm bringing a bottle of rum. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I'm bringing a bottle of rum. Thank you.
Oh, that's so fantastic. Thank you. So the last question I have for you is something we like to ask everybody here, which is, what is the piece of art that you're reaching for, that you find yourself going to just to, as a distraction, as a way to feed your soul, whatever, a TV show, book, album? What do you find has your attention right now?
Writing, just writing every single day. Using this opportunity to be productive. I think that's number one. Yeah, it's staying informed, staying in touch with my friends and family that I love very much, reading, writing, or reading and watching TV shows and movies. Criterion Collection.
Nice.
Can't recommend it enough. But yeah, just staying productive, because that's what I'm putting on this earth, and when we get done with this thing, I'm gonna need something to show for it. So that'll be I'll have some great reveals, and
Nice.
And hope the best for everybody out there, learning a new hobby or staying productive, keeping a nose to the grindstone. You got something to show to the world when you come out of this too, I'm sure.
Cool. Well, you've got something to show to the world right now, which is Rock Bottom Rhapsody,
Yeah,
available
man.
everywhere. Yeah, show that cover again. There it is.
Commercial.
People know they want that vinyl, right? That was a
That's
beautiful
right.
piece of vinyl. So, congratulations on that. Thank you for joining us today. This has been great. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, and particular thanks to those folks on there. I've seen the donations popping up, so thank you very much. And yeah, like I said to Sondra, when you're touring again and you find yourself in Atlanta, let's do this again face to face.
Thanks. I just wanted to say also too, on the note of staying productive, a lot of artists out there have started Patreons. I've done the same thing. So if you want to get to know some of your favorite artists out there, maybe a little bit more, join their Patreons and see what they're doing. I've definitely done that. And
Cool. Where can people find that?
I think you just search Patreon, Patreon, /Pokey Lafarge, or just Google Pokey Lafarge Patreon. But I think it's patreon.com/Pokey Lafarge, if I had to guess. And
Cool.
got a lot of behind the scenes songs I'm working on, cover songs, but it's basically geared around some of my writing, poetry, and specifically things like that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Be safe. Take care in Austin there. And we'll see you when we can, actually get out and travel sometime.
I'll see you there on the ATL. And here's to the first. I hope it's not the last, buddy.
All right. I'm empty, but I'll drink my dregs. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Pokey.